and welcome to another video. My name is Em, and today we're going to be doing a little review of some stuff that Meeden has sent me. Thank you so much. And also we're going to be doing a little study, little oil painting study. So settle in, I guess. Here's what we got. We got some paintbrushes, oil painting brushes. There's 10 of them. There's like a little mixture of sort of different sizes and roughness. And there's a couple soft ones in there and some pointy ones, you know, kind of covering all the bases brush-wise in a 10-pack that you can. I also got a little porcelain paint palette, which I love, and this desktop easel. So you can bring this anywhere you want because it's got like a little drawer in it that comes out that you can put paints and stuff in, which is really great. I'm not a really on the go kind of girl painting wise, but if I ever do get to going, I would bring this with me. Okay. These other little metal pieces, I didn't really know what they were for, so I kind of just like got rid of them. It was bent a bit there on the side, as you can see, but I just bent it back and it was fine. You can also remove this if you don't want it, but I'm going to keep mine in because I do want to keep it nice and clean in there. And I kept this middle one, but yeah, like I said, not the two other ones because I couldn't figure out how they fit into that area of my life. Here's my brushes. I'm putting them in here for display purposes only. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Sorry. I actually really love this easel though. It's served me well and you can just adjust it. The only thing is that here's my kind of standard size that I use. This is just a little canvas board, but I do always tape stuff to this big board that I got at my local art store, and that fits just fine. So we're good. If I got some canvases, like with, you know, wood, and those aren't going to fit. So I'm going to figure out a way to do that. So I do wish it could go smaller, but I know that like this one just simply is not built that way, but it's totally fine because I think I could just put a block of wood there in between the canvas and the part where it clamps down, and yeah, it'll hold. So now I'm just adding some gesso on this board. The canvas board that I got is truly just from the dollar store. I just got a couple of them to do these kinds of little studies and little things because I don't want to use anything fancy for something that I could potentially mess up. It's like, who cares, right? So I'm putting on this palette just grapey colors because we're going to be, guess what, doing some grapes today. So I'm kind of just picking like purples, magenta, that sort of deal. And I wasn't really too sure, but I knew I wanted to do these grapes. Grapes interest me because I like how when the light shines through them, you can see that they're really juicy and there's nice light inside of them, that kind of thing. It looks really good in paintings. So I was like, let me get brave and try my hand at some grapes. So I loved this reference photo. So now I'm just going to sketch sort of a block in. I've recently been seeing some people say like you don't want to do too much of a block in, depending on what you're doing. If you do too tight of an underdrawing, it kind of tightens everything else up. And I personally like the look of some like really loose painterly vibe oil painting wise right now. That's what I love the look of. So I guess I kind of regret making it so tight to start, but I do really, really like the under sketch. I love how this turned out. It was hard for me to do it while standing up. I just sprayed some fixative on it to hold the drawing. And then I covered it with this magenta color. But yeah, it was hard to do standing up. So I did have to take it off of the easel quickly and just fix it up while I was sitting down because I was doing a drawing, and that's just how I work, I guess. So then I removed some of the paint wherever I wanted there to be white highlights just to kind of get a feel for everything. And I realized that because I had used a safflower oil in with the magenta that I did for the under paint, it was a little bit too wet for me to start going on this painting right away, which I would have liked to start doing, but I was like, no, this isn't going to work. It was too like wishy-washy. So I thought, okay, whatever, I'll just wait a day. So I waited till the next day, and here I am using this softer one of the Meeden brushes. It's pretty good. I like how it's really soft and fluffy, but the bristles were like already frayed, and on some of the bigger brushes, like a lot of the hairs were coming out, and they were pretty stiff for what I normally do, because I usually like to use some pretty soft long bristles. That's kind of my thing that I've been doing with oil painting. So I don't know if I wasn't using them correctly or whatever, but that's my 2 cents on the brushes. So grapes have this like cast of white over top of them. I wonder what that is called. It's like dusty on them almost. So I was trying to sort of block that in like with a white or a whitish color while still keeping the really rich color I was seeing on the other side of the grapes in the shadow, because I wanted to make sure I got that like juiciness. So it's actually pretty tricky because white tends to, do something to the rest of the paints. You don't really want to be mixing it with anything else. I wanted to do the rest with just sort of transparent colors so that it will look very vibrant and like saturated on the other side, so that you can see that like juiciness of the grape. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep it like this, and then I'm going to just do the background, because I saw do you guys know this guy called Jake Don't Draw, or Jake Doesn't Draw or something? He's on YouTube, and he's quite good with oil painting. I saw some of his videos, and he was saying, when you're doing a puzzle, you're not just going to stick with the one piece. If you can't find a piece, you're going to go and look for other pieces and then come back to it. And so I keep sticking that in my head of like, if I'm having a hard time with one section, I'm not just going to keep on trying at one section. I'm just going to move around and go somewhere else. So that's what I did for this day. I decided to just start doing the background and do the stem. I think the stem turned out really well. The background, I wanted it to look a little more cool green. Don't know how that happened. I think I added too much burnt sienna in the corners, and then it sort of spread to the rest of it. And then at first I was like, yeah, this looks really good. I liked it a lot. I liked how it was like swoopy, and I like how the bottom half, which I'm going to be doing in 1 second, I like how that turned out with the shadows. So unfortunately though, I guess I didn't like it enough to keep it, because the next day I looked at it and I thought, this is just giving me 90s Olive Garden vibes. Just that tone of the browns like in the background was just making me feel so 90s or early 2000s, and not in like a good way, just in like every person's house that I was ever in. It was like too much. So I thought, okay, let's mix up this cool green and try again. So I'm using this. This is like one of the bigger brushes from the Meet In, and it was great to apply the paint down, which I think is what those more stiff hair brushes are for. They're synthetic, these ones. But once you get to like the more blending stuff, it's hard to blend because these ones are so stiff that they just pick up other paint, and I can't seem to get the texture I'm looking for with them. So once I got all the paint in, I switched to my softer flat brush and just continued on like that, which is, I'm pretty sure, what you're supposed to do anyways. But I just wanted to kind of give you the 2 cents on the brushes. But what I really love is the easel, because this is going to be just perfect for me. It's been great. And now that I've gotten used to it a little bit, I've done a couple more paintings with it. It's helping me a lot with lighting. I have to light the videos differently and do stuff differently with the oil painting videos, because obviously like the paint is shiny, so it's hard to film. And I'm just getting used to how to do that, and it's really helped me with that. So that's great. And I also love the little ceramic paint palette. Obviously, it would be great if it was bigger, but I think they really meant it to be used with like wash and watercolor. So it's perfect for that. But it's also good for the oil paint because it came right off when I tried to get it off. It cleaned really easily. It was a really nice mixing surface. Loved it. 10 out of 10. But I already had a Meet In paint palette for my watercolor paints, and I loved that, so I knew I was going to love it anyways. So anyhow, back to the grapes. I finally was feeling a bit more comfortable with them, and now that I had the background that I wanted to be on, I could like blend the edges a bit and sort of do the finishing touches to these grapes. See that little like bright part? I love that little bright part, that little neon kind of pink. area. I sort of was trying to get that in more places, but I was like so busy blending everything. Anyways, I think they look pretty cool, but I do find it's a bit too, I guess, tight for, like, I wanted it to be more loose and painterly, and I'm having a really hard time stopping myself where I should stop, or at least like approaching it in a way where it's like, okay, just put that paint stroke down and then stop moving. Don't touch that anymore, you know? So I'm finding that to be quite difficult because I just want to keep going and keep going, but sometimes you don't need to keep going, and it's better if it's really better if you don't. That's what I realized with oil painting. So I have to get used to that for sure. That's the biggest, I think, learning curve for me, because I do really want it to be like loose and just about the brush strokes and stuff. And I know that's going to take time to get used to. And for this one, I just ended up making it more, I don't know, it's just, they look too round. And I guess I just didn't want them to be as round. I wanted them to be a little more like just brush strokes. But it's all learning experience right now because I'm like so new to doing the oil paints that each single one I'm learning something completely new and different about them. And it's a ride and it's a journey, and I love it and I'm here for it. So we just got to take them as we get them. Pulling off the tape. And I'm finding with the tape, of course, because it's canvas and everything, I'm getting a little bit of bleed under the tape because of the, the underpainting, whatever. If I cared more, I would fix it up, but it's not that big of a deal because it's just a study of some grapes. And this is what the finished result looks like. My favorite part about it is the background. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week. Bye.